shot or something. Trying to eat him.
I'm telling you, the canals are brutal. The wildlife here, I mean, they're just vicious to one another, but it's just, you know, the beautiful circle of life thing. Three, two, one, go. Hey! There is a lot of road walking involved with a through hike of the Florida Trail, or even if you're doing it in sections. And I think a lot of that is also what deters people from hiking the Florida Trail. But I think as it gets more attention and more people start realizing what a unique ecosystem there is to experience, well, several different ones in the state of Florida, naturally more donations, resources, etc. will also come to the trail, and hopefully there will be more actual trail created to get around some of those roadblocks. Apparently there is a new critter to be concerned about or aware about out here. I'd never heard of them before, but pygmy rattlesnakes are a thing, and apparently they don't get very large, full grown, so the teenagers and babies are probably real small, but they rattle. They have a teeny tiny rattle. It sounds like a cricket or something like that. It does not sound like a rattlesnake, so yeah, it's like the snakes are made to hide well in this or something. I think I'd about rather swim the canal. Oh! God. Did you get bit?
Thought I did.
He got bit by that stick right there. And I hollered because a cricket made a noise. So. Wow. I guess this is where folks come to just dump their stuff. And I've never, ever in dump trash seen a pile of oranges. So that's a first. I'm not gonna lie, I'm tempted to eat one. I'm serious. It's not terrible. Those were probably recalled for like E. coli or salmonella poisoning or something like that. That's why they got dumped, but we'll find out. Okay, all of these are bees. I don't like it, but we don't really have a choice but to keep walking right now. I feel like we just narrowly survived that. I've seen my girl. I know what happens. We made it to Moorhaven. The owner here at the Rice's Motel is Susan, and she's freaking awesome. She said they didn't have any vacancies, but she ended up renting us a room that she doesn't normally rent. And she said, well, I had to work something out because I feel bad for y'all's dumbasses. And she said we're crazy, and I've never felt so welcome and treated so kindly by someone who insulted us more than once. I am really glad that the Florida Trail doesn't start with the levees, because I think a lot of people might get discouraged. Some people backpack for the actual walking down a trail experience. For me, a through hike is kind of about all of it, all of the struggles and just the entire experience. So for me, I like to take the good with the not as good as the rest. I think we've got some really cool stuff to look forward to down the trail. Well, I guess that's it.
So when my husband was 50 and I was 42, I opened my storage unit and sold everything in it. He sold his house, everything, farm, and bought a boat, came down to Florida, and I worked as a travel nurse whenever I needed money, and I would just go and work some contracts and gather up cruising fund. We'd take off and
That's awesome.
go do our thing. So yeah, go do it. Do it while you can, because this business of waiting until you're 65 to 70 is good. The American dream of going to work, coming home and paying a mortgage,
Yes.
car payment,
saved your life, buddy. We didn't even know. He was trying to get you. Now he probably will go hungry tonight, but you look like you're okay. I'm glad you're all right. I bet your heart's going a million miles per hour. Go, buddy, go, go, go. Today is our last day walking around Lake Okeechobee. We're gonna hit a spot where the east route and the west route end up coming together, and then the trail turns up north. And a friend of mine, my best friend, she's like a sister to me, is gonna be picking us up and taking us into Okeechobee. Grew up together since I was 4 and she was 3 in Florida until I moved to Alabama. But I don't get to see her a whole lot, and I am the godmother of her daughter, Kaden.
Yay! I'm so excited for you guys.
Oh, thank you.
He's coming to get you. Remember, T-Rexes are slow.
Don't get her!
I'll save you.
Only on the Florida Trail do you end up taking a break next to a dead manatee. I wanted to see a manatee on this trip, but not like this. This little friend down here is wanting to spar my shoe. Woo! Alfredo with possibly some mosquitoes as seasoning. Some bird said good morning to us by crapping on the tent. Yay! Finally, real trail. It's been a while, like over 100 miles. This is so cool looking. There's a campsite that we're heading over to, just so we can try to smell the water. I know that sounds crazy, but a lot of the well water in Florida smells like rotten eggs because there's sulfur in it. So we're coming to scope it out, honestly, just to see if we can smell the sulfur, because we're going to use a water cache that's a couple miles ahead. But in between the Pinhoti and the Florida Trail, we both got COVID, and I haven't been able to smell anything since. So I'm curious if I can at least smell rotten eggs. I hope you can smell it.
It doesn't smell like it doesn't seem to have a smell. But
Oh, no, I was like, non-potable.
it does.
It does?
It stinks, yeah.
You smell it though.
Yeah.
Ooh. We read on Gut Hook that there was a watering hole where they're like, probably don't want to get water here. So you have the rotten eggs, the gator hole, or the water cache ahead, and we're waiting for the water cache because there's a big old gator. We see her. She's been a resident of this water hole for about 5 years, according to Gut Hook. And supposedly she's not really dangerous unless she has babies, so we just have to go scope out if there are babies. Yeah, I hope we get to watch lunchtime. like an appetizer for her. Where did she go? Dun-na. Dun-na.
I think that's Jaws.
Well, it feels the same right now. Thank you to the folks who do stuff like this so that we don't have to drink rotten egg water or gator pee-pee water or pesticide water. For lunch, we're having some ramen noodles. I got mine getting ready in there. And I'm also having some peppermint tea. And I've got some essential oils here because I've been doing this scent training, trying to get my smell back. So I'm gonna sniff of my peppermint essential oils while I drink of my peppermint tea. It hasn't worked yet, and I've been doing it for several weeks now, but
Maybe, yeah.
looks like that used to be a snake. I reckon it had to be a big old one. You see the ribs?
Yeah.
Huh. I've never seen that before. This is so pretty. And it happens to be right on a road walk. This is where we're aiming to camp tonight. Well, somewhere in here anyway. This sassy bee down here is trying to get under the tent. She's climbing on the netting of the vestibule. And now she's mad at me because I won't let her stay into the tent, but she's gonna get mashed. We are back in the swamp now, and we're meeting my Aunt Kathy and Uncle John tomorrow to hike just a short stretch. Tomorrow we'll trudge through the swamp and meet Aunt Kathy and Uncle John, who are bringing us some fast food for breakfast. That's pretty awesome. And yeah. The Florida Trail and Florida in general is kind of near and dear to my heart because, as I mentioned before, I was born here in Melbourne at Holmes Medical Regional Center, which is my only claim to fame because Jim Morrison was also born there, although I think it was a newer hospital when I was born. But anyway, also my biological father spent a lot of time in his life in Florida, and he, as I'm told, was an outdoorsman. So I wonder too if he didn't explore some of these areas that I'm seeing, and so it kind of makes me feel connected to that part of my life. That tree over there is a boy, and this one is a girl. I have never seen a tree with hot pink, but now we can cross that one off the bucket list. It's kind of crazy going through some of this terrain with the palms and the live oaks because growing up as a kid, I tended to have birthday parties at the park. One, because I liked being outside, and two, they just happened to be cheap also. But it's really cool to see that combination because I loved being outside so much, and I did spend a lot of my younger years in terrain that looks just like this, and possibly even in some of these exact areas. We found some wild oranges. Like I can smell it. Oh.
I'll give you a run.
Were those hogs? I heard them run off, but did you see them? Come back, Pumbaa. When I was a little girl, my mom couldn't keep me out of the trees, and she used to tell me when she would go to do the laundry, it was very clear which side was the front and the back because my butt part of my shorts was always dirty from pretty much living outside until she made me come in.
Ugh.
And I still have family down here in Florida that I come to visit once a year or so, so I'll get a little bit of the highlights of Florida from when I was a kid, but getting to explore it this way, I mean, this is what I dreamed of when I was a little girl.